Very good morning to everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the topic of switching in the network communication. That's about. So we are going to discuss about the what are the types of switching occurs, and then before going to that, you should know about the definition about the switching. So how switching occurs in a network part. So in the switching part, generally the network connections will be depends upon the switches. So mostly the switches operate at layer 2, and then we can operate the switches in the below mentioned layers, like the physical layer, data link layer, and then the network layer. So and then this is a diagram which shows about how the switching is happened in the network. So in the figure 1, we have the computers which gets connected with the different switches, and then here we have totally 5 switches are there, and then we have computers getting connected from A to till we can see that A, B, C, D, E, F. So G, H, I, and J. So these are the different levels of computers we are getting connected in the network. So these all represents about the switched network. So how they can able to transfer the packets in a network, how the switching is occurring in the network. So this part will be giving you a clear idea about how the packets will be transmitted, and then how the sender is transmitting, and then how the receiver is receiving the data packets. And then here a picture of the diagram represents about the different level of switching networks. So the first one is about there are totally 3 types is there. So circuit switch network, packet switch network, and then the message switch network. So under these 3 categories, we have a subdivision with the packet switch network, that is of datagram networks, and then the virtual circuit networks. So from these 3 types of switching networks, so first we are going to discuss it briefly about what is the circuit switch network. So in the circuit switch network, the schematic diagram which shows about that how the connection is established between the computers of A and M, and then we have a circuit network, a circuit switch network which establishes a channel in between A to M, and then we have the switches of totally 4 switches are there. So out of these 4 switches, how this connection is established to make the seamless transfer of messages without any interrupt will be happening in this circuit switch network. So in this circuit switch network, it consists of a set of switches which are connected through the physical links. So see here, this A to M, we have a set of switches. So switch 1, 2, 3, and then 4. These are all getting connected through a physical link. So these are all getting connected through a physical link, and then this circuit switches will be happening at the which layer of the OSI model is it's about the physical layer. So it operates at the physical layer, and then this circuit switch network will make a dedicated path to complete the data transfer between the sender and then the receiver. So a complete dedicated path is obtained between the sender and then the receiver, so that we won't occur any data loss or a packet loss when we make when we send any data packet through this circuit switch network. And then we can see an example over this, an example with the circuit switch network. Here I can give you an example regarding this circuit switch network. I try to give an example with this by connecting this 8 telephone lines in a small area. So and then the communication is around through the 4 kilohertz with the voice channels, and then we can assume that we are using the link which uses the FDM to connect the maximum 2 channels. So here for the bandwidth of the data transmission between the 2 links will be about the 8 kilohertz, and then this figure shows you the situation is of how far this the telephone lines is getting connected. So the telephone 1, see this these are set about the telephone lines of 1 to 4, and the remaining 5, 6, 7, 8 is there. So see here how this circuit switch connection is established between these links which is shown here. See here the telephone link 1 is getting connected with the 7, right? So through the switch, and then 2 is getting connected with 5. So 2 is getting connected with 5, and then 3 with 8. So 3 with 8, and then 4 to 6. So 4 is connected with the 6. So with this we can make a circuit switch connection, and then through this you can able to make some changes to develop some new connections also. So the switch control will be depends upon the changes what you are making. So this is about the circuit switched network. And then the next example you are going to see for this circuit switched network is that we are going to make the connection between the 2 computers in an office through a remotely, right? So that is in a private company you are going to make a remote connection of 2 computers. How the circuit switched network is established between these 2 computers you are going to see now. So see here we are providing the network connection with T1 line list, that is the service provider, and then here we have totally 2 4x8 switches in the network. So which means that they can offer you about the 4 inputs and then the 8 outputs. So two switches are there. So one with the input of 4, and then the other with the output of 8. So totally these 2 switches will be giving the input as the 8 inputs, and then 16 will be the output. I am saying the total of these two switches, and then for each switch we are used to give the 4 output ports are folded, right? So 4 output ports are folded, and then those 4 outputs are folded, so which makes us to give the input ports to allow the communication that happens between the computers in the same office. So this is what the scenario which happens when we make through the switches to get connected with the circuit switch, and then the 4 other output ports allows the communication between the 2 offices. So this figure 5.5 which represents about how far the communications happens between the 2 computers remotely. So and then we have the communication, the actual communication in the circuit switch network happens in 3 phases. One is of connection setup, and then after connecting once the connection is getting set up, then the seamless data transfer is done. Once if we have completed the data transfer, then we need to terminate the connection. So that's what in this diagram it represents. For A to B, if we need to make a communication, first we need to set up the connection, and then after getting the connection is established, you will be getting the acknowledgement. So of connection is established, and then after that we can able to transfer the data, and then after making your complete data transfer is done, then you can terminate the connection. So that is a connection termination. So this diagram clearly represents about how far the communication is taking place between the sender and then receiver. So and then regarding the part of circuit switch network, the term which we need to discuss more is of efficiency. So how we can able to know the performance, so how far the packet is getting delivered without any loss. So here we need to discuss it about how the efficiency is managed. So based upon the resource allocation, how far we are engaged during the entire connection, as well as how the whether this the resources are available to all the computers, or it is very specific to or it is very specific to the computers which has been connected to the network, or whether it is available or not. You should be very careful with that. And then if it is not available to the other connections, then there will be the resource scarcity. So and then what we need to do, so in a telephone network, if we don't have a connection, so then people will normally use to terminate it, and then that is once they have finished the conversation, they use to terminate it. So that's what in case of the efficiency. And then in case of delay, so when the delay will be occurring is so when we make a seamless data transfer from the sender to the receiver, so the delay will be occurring. The delay will be occurring because of the resource allocation part. So it is not delaying at the part of the switch. So it is mainly because of whether this the at the center or the receiver side, if it is getting any all the resources what it needs to be done. So if it is happens, then the packets will be delivered seamlessly. So if not, then there will be the problem of occurring delay. So this is about the switching part in the Unit 1. Thank you.